What do you do when your home, your life's work, is drowned in raw sewage by the very people who smiled to your face? That's the question I was forced to answer when my quiet farm became a battleground, all because the HOA decided I was standing in the way of their perfect little empire. My name's Ethan Carter, and this is the story of how I fought back hard, dirty, and with a truckload of manure that made them wish they'd never crossed me. It started with a stench so virile it could wake the dead. I was pouring my morning coffee, the sun just creeping over my fields, when the smell hit me like a punch. Thick, putrid, it slithered into my kitchen, ruining the peace of my rural slice of heaven. At first, I figured one of my pigs had gotten into something nasty, but when I stepped outside, my boots sank into a bubbling, toxic sludge snaking through my crops. My stomach churned. This wasn't a dead animal or a busted septic tank, this was raw sewage, a reeking river of human waste swallowing my land, my livelihood. My fields, once green and thriving, were now a swamp of filth. Across the road, standing on the HOA's pristine clubhouse lawn, I saw them. Victor Ramsey, the HOA president, sipping coffee like he was watching a parade, and beside him, Treasurer Claire Dutton, giggling behind her hand. Rage burned in my chest as I stormed over. "What the hell is this?" I yelled, pointing at the disaster engulfing my farm. Victor turned, eyebrows raised, all fake surprise. "Morning, Ethan," he said, smooth as silk. "Looks like you've got a mess there." "A mess?" My crops were drowning in disease-ridden sludge. "This is sewage, Victor," I spat. "Where's it coming from?" He exchanged a glance with Claire, who smirked. "Probably old pipes acting up," he said, shrugging. "Rural plumbing, you know. Maybe you should have thought twice before buying land so close to our community." His words hit like a slap. This wasn't an accident. "This is coming from you, isn't it?" I stepped closer, fists clenched. "You're dumping waste on my property." Claire rolled her eyes. "Don't be dramatic. We adjusted our drainage system. Some runoff might be heading your way." "Runoff?" I laughed, bitter and sharp. "This isn't runoff. This is human waste ruining my home." Victor sighed, all fake sympathy. "That sounds inconvenient, but your land's the lowest point around. Gravy ta, Ethan. Maybe work on your drainage." I was shaking, my fists begging to connect with his smug face. They'd done this on purpose, and I knew why. The HOA had been after my land for years, offering to buy it, pushing their cookie-cutter development dreams. I'd refused every time. Now they were playing dirty. Victor clapped my shoulder like we were buddies. "No hard feelings, Ethan. Maybe think about selling while you can." I jerked away, fury boiling. "You think this is funny?" Claire scoffed. "It's just land. Maybe it's time to move on. The farm VYB doesn't really fit our VY shown." That's when it clicked. This wasn't just cruelty, it was a calculated move to force me out. Victor's smirk confirmed it. "Get started on cleanup," he said, turning away. "That sewage won't move itself." They strolled back to their clubhouse, laughing, while my farm drowned. I wasn't going to let this slide. I grabbed my phone, called the county health department, but after 3 transfers, all I got was, "We'll send an inspector by Friday." Friday? My land would be dead by then. My lawyer, Nathan, said I needed proof photos, videos, anything to pin this on the HOA. So I got to work, snapping pictures of the flooded fields, the sludge pooling around my crops. I followed the flow upstream, past my fence, to a rusted pipe near the HOA clubhouse, spewing waste like a demon's drain. I recorded it all, zooming in on the pipe, the filth slithering onto my land. This was no accident. The next morning, a violation notice was nailed to my door. Hazardous and environmental conditions. Immediate remediation required. DULA 500 daily fines. The nerve of these people. They flood my farm, then fine me for it. I ripped it down, boots squelching in the muck that had spread overnight. My crops were brown, rotting, my pigs too scared to leave the barn. This was war. I called Nathan again, but he warned legal action would take time. The county and state environmental offices gave me the same runaround weeks for an investigation. Then my neighbor Sam called. "Check the HOA newsletter," he said, voice grim. I opened my email and there it was, a mass email claiming the sewage was my fault, that my faulty septic system was a community hazard. They even hinted at condemning my land for public safety. It was a lie to steal my property, plain and simple. I needed undeniable proof. I grabbed waiters, a flashlight, and followed the sewage back to that pipe. It led to an HOA-branded access panel, hiding a shut-off valve and a work order detailing their plan to reroute waste onto my land. I photographed everything, backing it up on multiple devices. Now I had them. That night, I sent an email to every homeowner, titled, "What your HOA's hiding, proof of illegal sewage dumping," with every photo, video, and document attached. I printed copies, stuffed them in mailboxes before dawn. By morning, the neighborhood was ablaze. My phone buzzed with calls, texts, homeowners furious not at me, but at Victor. At the next HOA meeting, Victor's smug facade cracked as residents waved my evidence, shouting, "You lied!" Claire threw him under the bus, claiming ignorance. I stood up, calm but loud. "Victor, if this was a drainage fix, where are the permits?" His face paled. I slapped down records showing no permits filed, accusing him of felony environmental violations. The crowd erupted. A retired lawyer warned the HOA could be liable. Victor, sweating, called an executive session, fleeing to the office with the board. I turned to the crowd. "They'll come for me next, but I recorded everything. Who's with me?" Phones came out, half the room had recorded too. Then I dropped my bomb. "I filed complaints with the EPA, county, and state." "Oh, and Victor's septic system?" "Out of compliance for 2 years." The room exploded again. I pushed for a vote. "Lisa, what's in the reserve fund?" She stammered. "Do la 80,000. I smirked. "Enough for legal fees when the EPA comes knocking?" The crowd turned on Victor. "Step down," I said, "or watch the HOA collapse." Cheers erupted as he choked out, "I resign." But I wasn't done. Victor needed to feel my pain. I called my cousin, Luke, who ran a dairy farm. "Got any manure?" He laughed. "How much you need?" "Enough to drown a building." Then I called Pete, a plumber the HOA had screwed over. He was in, ready to rig the office pipes. Thursday night the board met in their fancy office, desperate to save themselves. I watched from my truck, a security camera feed showing everything. At 7:03, Victor showed up, too arrogant to stay away. At 7:07, Pete's sabotage hit sludge erupted from sinks, walls, floors. Then, 20 tons of manure crashed through doors, windows, vents, sealing them in a tomb of filth. Victor fell first, his suit ruined, Claire gagging as she sank. The fire alarm locked the doors, vents spreading the stench. I let them stew for 15 minutes before calling the fire department. When they broke the door, manure spilled into the street, a glorious wave of justice. The news went wild. HOA board drowns in scandal literally. Videos of Victor crawling through manure went viral. The EPA fined the HOA Dula $250,000. Claire quit, the board scattered, and the HOA dissolved. But I wasn't finished. I dug into their finances, found Victor had been embezzling dues into his personal account. I sent the evidence to my lawyer, the Attorney General, and every news station. Within days, Victor was on TV, handcuffed, charged with fraud. His house was foreclosed, his life ruined. I pushed for new laws banning shady HOAs, and the town passed them. 6 months later, my farm was thriving, the old HOA office a parking lot. I drive by sometimes, roll down my window, and breathe deep. Revenge smells sweet.